Hi everyone, it's Michelle here at Sacred Reference. I'm making this video because I'm receiving a lot of comments, emails, feedback, um, experiences with my clients in the process groups that I'm holding in my own life where we are being challenged on an inner and outer realm, that life is bringing up certain circumstances that are not always easy to deal with. And I've been a student of astrology and depth psychology for many, many years. And one of my favorite teachers, Errol Wiener, has somewhat prepared us for this time. He talked about this changing of the time. We're almost in this period of like changing of the guards, where a new age is arising. And what we know about this new earth coming online, this new age, is that it's a birth. And in order for birth to happen, we have to also have death. And death is something that is quite feared. It's quite um, it's the thing that none of us can escape. It's the fear that is mobilizing of our survival mechanisms. So what is going on right now is almost destined in a way. It's destined because it's making us move into this space of really having to go deep within our own self and really start clearing out some of these old belief systems that were based upon the distortions. Some of the old belief systems that were placed upon this imbalanced way of putting the rational mind as the most important, that aspect of the human experience that says what I'm thinking is going to get me out of trouble, that it's the rational thinking mind that is going to come up with the solutions. Yet at the same time, we also have this new understanding arising, this new way of working with our experiences. When we're talking about manifestation, I keep hearing from a lot of these speakers and teachers that we have to work with that felt sense. Yet when it comes to our pain, when it comes to some of the more difficult situations, we're not looking at it that we have to work with that felt sense in those realms too. And this brings me to a topic that we just worked with in my group today. And what came through with Isis is this idea and is this concept that vulnerability is not something to fear. It's where we need to go if we wish to truly embrace our power. It's in our capacity to hold our vulnerability. And that is not an easy thing to do. Because when we're talking about fearing money loss, when we're talking about having $30 in our bank account while we have kids to feed, no gas in our tank, and all our bills due in 3 days, we're touching into a deep fear. We're touching into that deep fear of survival. And in that place of survival, there is this capacity for that lower brain to take over and to spin us out into a story. And that story is going to look different depending on who you are, how you were raised, where your background is, what kind of trauma or experiences you've had in the past. And yet that story, what the common thing is that everyone's trying to figure out that story by making meaning of it, by talking about, it's the Dark Lodge trying to interfere with the new birth, or we have this idea of I grew up in this situation, and they're trying to fuck me, this one's trying to hurt me, this one's trying to smash my life, and there's always this looking outside of ourselves for why things are the way they are. And when we were just working with Isis earlier, what was coming through is that instead of us trying to make sense or trying to find a reason why, or trying to just go in and just clear that or make a prayer, we are being asked to reorganize ourselves, that we look at, how is this affecting me personally? I know that I am sitting with some of these fears. And when I actually tune in to what's happening inside, when I just stop and I get so curious and stop trying to get my mind to figure everything out, and I just go inside and ask, what is happening right now? And I sit with some of those feelings that feel really icky, and they feel hard, and they feel yucky. And I use these tools of embodiment that I've been cultivating, which is feeling this felt sense of safety. When the fear comes up, just holding space. One of the things I always teach is to just hold the back of the kidneys. This is a technique that I learned from one of my teachers, Irene Lyons, because the kidneys, which are back here, they are what holds fear. And if we're in a state of fear, we can't create. So when we're in these situations, instead of going out there and spinning out into the story of why, can we just let go of the story for a minute and just bring our awareness and our attention to ourselves? Bring our awareness to what's happening inside, to acknowledge that fear. And one of the techniques, like I said, is to just hold those kidneys, hold the back, hold that part. Another way is to just bring one hand there and one hand to the belly, and almost just squeezing in a way that feels comfortable for you, just holding yourself and letting that fear speak. Just settling into the sensations of holding that space, holding, and not focusing on what is the fear, what is this, not trying to make meaning. Focus on what it feels like to have your hands supporting you, to have your arms supporting you. Focus on what it feels like to have your hands on your belly like that, pressed up against your back, and sit and feel and experience. And when I say feel, I don't mean to say, oh, okay, I feel happy, I feel sad, I feel scared. I mean, go beyond that. Go to that place that's beyond the mind, that just notices what the experience is like to have the arm pressing into the back, to feel or to experience. What is the experience of feeling the hand pressing on the belly, holding the belly, the temperature of the hand, the weight of the hand, the placement of the hand? And stay with this. The mind will always try to come in and protect. The mind will always want to get in the way. Yet can you bring yourself back to this situation? And then you can bring in that soothing, that part that says, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And just stay. Come back to the sensations of the hand supporting. This is not a quick 5-second thing. Notice that my body is rocking a little. notice that I'm not taking my hands off. I'm keeping them there. And even as I'm speaking to you, because I'm very trained in this, I'm still orienting myself to feeling what it feels like to have my hands there. And if you might notice, my breath starts to shift. My body, my voice starts to change because my body's all of a sudden feeling a little bit more supported. I always get a little nervous when I'm making these videos, so my sense of activation lights up. Yet when I focus on my hands supporting my back, feeling that connection, and if it hurts, you can just feel your back up against a pillow. You can rub a little bit, just rubbing, and really staying and saturating yourself in that experience. And as you do that, notice what shows up. Is there a scared little child? Is there a frustrated teenager? Is there a scared adult that is frantic and wanting to collapse because they don't know how they're going to provide food for their family? And can you meet whoever shows up with this sense of connection, this felt sense of connection? Because what we understand about the mind is while the thinking brain has been emphasized as the most important, we keep hearing people say our thoughts control our reality, our thoughts control our reality. And what we understand in science, what we understand in this other body of work that's rising right now, is that our thoughts are actually a byproduct of what's happening on the level of our nervous system. This is something that was understood by Edgar Cayce. This is something that was understood by the ancients, the ancient ancients. This is something that was understood in indigenous communities, and it was taken from us. It's this understanding that the thinking brain, while is very good at solving problems sometimes, that thinking brain is always going to be oriented around what's happening inside our body. Story follows state. Story follows state. So that means the state of our nervous system is dictating what kind of thoughts are arising. And this is not necessarily the thoughts that we're just bringing forward when we present our best foot. This is how we feel when we are alone or we're in the day-to-day situations. If we're sitting here telling everybody it's going to be great, oh, it's all good, everything is good, just manifest, just be grateful, it's all about gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And then I'm coming home and I'm hating other people, or I want to recluse, and I'm just frustrated and irritated and angry all the time, then those thoughts are not necessarily, those thoughts are coming from me learning how to squash down what's really happening and overriding with the thinking brain. But that's not where we solve issues. That's not the sacred feminine. The sacred feminine is what's happening underneath, at the level of the soma, at the level of our somatic awareness, at the level of our nervous system. And this is part of what is rising in the divine feminine, is this more non-linear, more dropping into a sense of curiosity of what is happening in this very moment inside you. This is going into the depths of psyche. So if you are ready to truly explore this work on this level, then join me. Come and be a part of some of these offerings that I'm providing, because we are not wanting to live any longer in a world that's trying to think our way into a new future. We have to be able to radiate and come from this place of safety and connection. Imagine if we live in a world that is based on safety and connection. That is a state of the nervous system. That's the most evolved state of the nervous system. That's where everything is operating at its most optimal functional place. And this is why I'm getting client after client that is coming to me with issues like terminal illness, like I just lost everything, like I was abused as a child, and now I'm in my mid 80s and I can't walk. And why this is happening, and I've tried everything. I've done all the spiritual work. I've been doing inner work and inner work and inner work and inner work. And yet, when I ask people to just drop into their nervous system, they don't know how to. And that's mostly because this work is new. This work has only been around for the past 20 years or so, which really makes it new. It's not even at the level of institutions. I've worked in institutions, and it's just starting to become a part of the practices. You know, we see a lot of this trauma awareness, trauma informed, and that's just a tiny piece of it. So this new way of being truly is what Isis is explaining is part of the new human. It's that marriage, it's that sacred marriage between left and right brain. Left brain is the declarative brain that thinks about thinking. It's the part of you that wants to solve it in a logical, rational way. It's that part that wants to make meaning. Oh, well, what's happening? I know this, this happened to me when I was 5, and then this happened to me when I was 8, so this is probably what that is. When we go into a state of healing, when we go into the depths, when we're working with Isis, we are going into a place that exists beyond that part that wants to make meaning. We're going into the realm of sensation and curiosity. We're going into this realm where the experience doesn't seem to make sense as it's happening. And that's why it's amazing when you work with Isis and we see this in action. It's because it doesn't make sense to the rational brain. And yet the clearing and the experiences and the space and the freedom that is arising is beautiful and cannot be cultivated from any thinking place. It has to come from the bottom up. That is what we call this in the field of nervous system, neuroscience, somatic psychology. It's bottom up processing, because 80% of the wiring is going from your viscera, from the guts, from your heart, up into the brain. And only 20% is going from the brain down to the viscera. So that means that what's happening at the level, again, of your nervous system, those states of defense, is going to override your thinking every time. And this is why when you're in a state of fear or alarm, your more protective parts come out. And they want to attack, and they want to, talk about, what's happening in the galactic wars, or they want to, yell at the lady at the grocery store and everything sucks. And, oh, I've tried everything and this isn't going to work for me. That's when you're having those thoughts, that means your nervous system is out of balance. And what we understand now is that there's healing on all these different levels. This is what Edgar Cayce was talking about. the somatic level, the body, the level of the body, the physical, the level of the mind, the level of the emotions, the level of spirituality. And what Isis is showing us is that they're all intertwined. They're all intertwined. And I'm going to take it to the next level and say that this idea that, oh, we are all energy. We are all energy. That is so right. We are all energy. And guess what energy does? It flows. It flows like this. And when we're experiencing a sense of fear, when we're experiencing a sense of defense, or when we get to those places where we're so overwhelmed, or we don't know what to do, or we're confused, there's a level of survival stress. That's what energy is in a human way. It's survival stress. And our nervous system is what either upregulates the energy or downregulates it. But what happens in our human world is that there's a part of us that we're not even conscious of that says, I can't feel this energy. I can't express this energy. If I'm in a place of being triggered and my animal brain says, I want to fight this person, and obviously I can't do that, I have to squash that energy down. Now, that energy isn't moving out. That energy is being squashed down, and it stays inside us. Energy gets stuck in the body. And when we work with the nervous system, when we work with Isis in this way, she leads us into this place where all of a sudden we're feeling some kind of experience of chronic pain, of defense, of anger, some irritation. And we work with it in this way where we're getting an opportunity to release. And the thing about it is, it's not a quick fix. It's not a come sign up for one session and I'm all healed. And that's some of the other resistance that I'm getting in this work, is there's a lot of mindset around, let's just get in there and like it's an operation, like you're going to sign up for a session and we're going to go in there and I'm going to make all your problems go away. It doesn't work that way on the level of the nervous system. It doesn't work that way in the level of the feminine. The feminine is about slow and sustained. And in that process is this reclamation and this joy and this beauty and this felt sense of pleasure that you did not even know that you were capable of experiencing until you actually go through it. And so I'm going to stop lecturing. I'm going to stop bringing these words out. And I'm just going to offer you an opportunity to listen to Isis, to listen to what she has to say, because it's really important. And if you're struggling right now, you might need to hear this. So just let go of all my words. Let go of everything that I was just explaining. You can go back and listen to other parts. You can go take notes. You can go and do your own research on some of this stuff. And for now, just let it all go. Let it all go and just sit and feel where your feet are placed right now. Can you feel, if your feet are touching the ground, can you feel that place where your feet and the ground meet? Can you feel where your legs are touching? Can you feel where your backside, your bum, your sit bones, where they're pressing into the surface if you are seated? Can you feel the fabric of your clothing touching your skin? And why we are always being led into this journey through this way. Not only does it make us access what I call the wisdom body, it's soothing that lower animal brainstem, because that brainstem is searching for safety 4 times a second. It's searching for safety 4 times a second. And the way that it feels satiated in its sense of safety is touch. Touch being how your body feels pressed against another surface. So drop into that. Drop into how does it feel for your body to make connection in that way. Notice what sit bone is having more pressure on it. Don't make meaning out of it. Just notice it. Notice if the body wants to shift or adjust, and give it permission to do so. A lot of times when I start to lead people in this, they're like, oh, actually, I'm cold and I need a blanket. And it's not that they just got cold in that moment. It's that they're finally at the level of recognizing that. And for some of us, this is a really hard state to be in, because it's where we start to sense and notice our physical pain. And if you do notice that, say hello to it. Don't make a story, don't judge it, don't fear it. Just say hello and come back to feeling where your feet are making connection. Come back to feeling another place inside. And just begin now to scan the body, scanning and noticing where your breath is, not shifting, not changing, just feeling, just feeling. Just noticing where it is. And you might notice that the body makes a deeper breath automatically, that you might burp or have some gas or shake something out. That's the discharge. That's the body discharging. And when we create this felt sense of safety, that can happen. And so, dearest ones, I come to you through this one at a time where many of you are experiencing some form of difficulty. And while I wish that it weren't so, I am here to tell you that although I cannot take it away, I am here to hold your hand through it. Dearest, this process of taking the right hand of the goddess has always been known in your ancient times. Yet, the feminine, the darkness, and the shadow has always been feared. There is this unconscious process of wanting to think it all away, to create a plan, a strategy. And yet I am here to tell you that there is a space beyond that, where everything, every realm, every energetic body within, through, and between you can reorganize. Just feel, dearest. Feel the places where the body and the earth meet. This is a felt sense of your connection with Gaia, your Earth Mother. Dearests, you are a star seed, and the earth that you are dancing upon is a star planet. It is in this physical reality that you have the capacity to make a great impact on your planet, in your solar system, in the multiverses. For what is within you is a reflection of what is without. So if you are open to taking my hand and navigating what is happening within you, not on the level of the mind, but on a deeper level where freedom can be accessed, where the golden thread that leads to the awakening can be accessed. It is already known. You do not need the goddess to tell you this, yet I will remind you that it is allowing yourself to go fully into the darkness, that you can ripen, that you can truly embrace the light. And as you sit here, noticing where your breath is, feeling, you can take the hands and place them upon your chest, or embrace yourself in a hug. Know that you are in my arms, that I am with you. And what I am cultivating through this one is the ability to open the connection between you and the goddess, so that you experience me directly, so that you can know me again, know the goddess again. But the goddess does not exist on the level of the mind. The God within does not exist on the level of the mind. It is when you truly embody this felt sense of safety that you can allow the vulnerability of the divine child to come forward. As you are held in my frequency, as you are taking in and tracing this sense of safety, what happens when you call forward the divine child? What do you notice inside the body? Because this divine child will come through in the felt sense, dearests. And if it is the wounded child that shows up, embrace them. Feel that wounded child, and then shift your attention to feeling where the body and the earth connect. Feel the hands, the weight placed upon the body. So this divine child can feel that connection, can feel what it is like to be held in this state of vulnerability. And dearests, as you calm yourself, as you cultivate this capacity to come back to a place of safety and connection, you can begin to open your creative mind. Begin to imagine what it is like to receive the financial abundance you need, to feel what it would be like to have support. Your hand resting on the body, you listening to these words through this one, is receiving support. And this is not a rational experience. It's one that is felt through the senses. Notice what happens inside when I say to you, existence, the Creator, is here to support you. What do you notice? Is there resistance? Is there irritation? Does it make you fidget? Does it make you feel open and expanded? Do you feel a lightness, a space? There is no right or wrong. These are just examples. And if you feel the support of existence, focus on the quality of that. Marinate in that support. And if you do not feel the support of existence, feel the body, feel the hands, feel the feet on the ground, the sit bones, and simply turn your head to the right as if you are speaking to this part, acknowledging whether it is resistance or another emotion. Acknowledge it. Know that truly this is a part of you that is in place to keep you safe, to keep you protected. we will follow this one's guidance and use protected. Tell this part, I know that you are trying to protect me. Yet I am opening to something different now. And as you say these words, notice what is happening in the body. Scan the body. Feel where the hands are making contact, the pressure, the weight, the feet on the ground. Notice what happens inside. And with this process of slowing down, not trying to make the resistance go away, not trying to attach to a plan or an idea, but just turning in and saying, what do I notice in my body when this experience of resistance arises? What do I notice? Is there tension? Is there pain? Is there clenching? Is something happening in the belly? Whatever it is, dearest, do not try to make meaning of it. Just allow it. And I know this is a difficult process for some, for many. And this is why I am walking you through it. For you truly are on the hero's journey. And the hero did not take the journey alone. The hero has always been guided by the goddess. So notice inside if there is resistance. Say hello to it. Get to know it. Little by little, you will grow more capacity, dearests, to experience the felt sense of our connection. And if your connection with another emanation of the goddess, of the divine feminine, feels stronger to you, then work with her. What is important is that you feel the sensations inside of this connection. And do not get tricked by the brain in thinking that this connection will arise from some grandiose experience. What you might feel could be very subtle. So allow yourself to be held. Allow yourself to be nurtured in the arms of the goddess. And hold these spaces. Begin to know these spaces that arise as negativity. If you are having difficult thoughts, seek to go beyond the mind. Do not try to work on the level of the thoughts, dearest. Allow me to take you to the deeper roots. This is why the feminine has been so feared, for she is not the aspect of you that is rational, that is controlled, that makes sense and meaning. It's the aspect of you that goes to the level of the felt sense, works on the level of the senses. And when you learn to dwell in this realm with the divine child completely present, completely in the driver's seat, this is how you learn to embody heaven on earth, the God and Goddess within you, in your waking everyday life. This is the level that you can create from. Now that you are feeling more calm and safe, scan the body. Notice the divine child present. And if this is difficult for you, keep coming back. Keep coming back to the place where the body and the earth connect to. And slowly, slowly, you will deepen this connection. I assure you, dearest, that whatever difficulty is arising is an opportunity for you to experience a death and rebirth in life, to reorganize yourself, to recalibrate yourself. Trust that there is gold. Trust that if you continue to follow the threads through this felt sense with the hand of the Goddess, that your journey of healing, no matter what level it is, will be your journey to awakening. I hope to work with each and every one of you more, whether it is through this one or through the connection that we are cultivating together. I love you, and I am with you always, and will talk with you again. And so, just take in, notice any morsel of experience, any sensation that arises. If it is pleasant or neutral, get to know it better. Dwell and marinate in the quality, in the flavor of that sensation. if what you feel is intense or negative or painful, try to reorient yourself back to that place where the body and earth meet. Try to find a place where there is something different. Those of you that have worked with me for a while now know that when we trust this process, we learn to cultivate both this and that. And then it begins to be more freedom, more expansion, more joy. And sometimes more stuff comes up and we can experience that joy and that pleasure and that expansion and whatever is negative. Sorry, I've got teenage boys at my door, neighborhood kids looking to talk. I welcome that. I love that the teenagers want to talk. It's amazing. So if this speaks to you, I want you to know that the work that I'm doing is quite revolutionary. It's quite new. And it's reorienting the whole way we think and live and feel and move through the world. And I'm here to support you all. I am going to be giving out a bunch of offerings in the month of June. So just stay tuned and listen to them. And I've also made these packages available for a very short time. I said I was going to do it to the end of May, but I never made anything reminding people. So I'll give you an extra week. But I've made it that you can buy a package of 5 1-hour sessions for $450 US, which is half of what it costs for a normal session and what my colleagues are charging. And yet, because we are in such a huge financial bind in this world, and because so much is coming up, it feels right to offer this. And I want you to know that the reason I'm offering this is because while I actually raised the price of one session, so when people come and they want one session with Isis, it is now $222. And yes, those sessions are longer, but when we work in small doses, when we work over a period of 5 weeks, or if you want to stretch it out a little bit longer, then we're really starting to get the body to become familiar with a process, with something new. And after we practice some of these techniques over and over again, it's like all of a sudden the whole mind-body system begins to reorganize, our nervous system begins to reorganize, and shifts happen, and then these new ways of being can kind of just happen automatically. It's like riding a bike. And while I cannot promise you freedom in 5 weeks, I can give you a very good foundation of how to work in this new way, how to find this felt sense of support. So if you like to sign up, you just need to email me, or when I send this out, I'll put a link to do that. And I also have process groups and other availabilities. I'm thinking of doing it where I'm going to do a drop-in process group, or other ways that I can be creative and create a container of support for you all in this new way, while also supporting myself, because I do have kids to feed, and and we all need to get paid for our work. So I'm trying to become more creative in that way. And write me, let me know how it goes, and let me know what comes up for you. I'm here, and I wish you all so much love and so much support on this journey. I want you to know you're not alone. We're all in it together. So Yeah. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.